we like to do as much research as possible. And one of the ways you learn about the company is obviously speaking to management. So clearly, if we can, and if management will speak to you, then we endeavor to do that. I called up Tops, for instance, and I said, I'd like to meet with the CEO. And I was told at the time that the CEO doesn't meet with shareholders. So I said, okay, and I sent him notice that I was nominating 3 people to the board, and lo and behold, I get a phone call. And we should talk. This is crazy. So yeah, clearly if the board is willing to talk to you, or if management's willing to talk to you, it makes sense to talk to them. But I think it's very healthy for shareholders, the owners of the company, to talk to the other shareholders, see what their views on the company, what they think the company should be doing. And I think that's just a natural, normal way that the owners should get to communicate with each other.
Forming a group.
Well, I'm not sure that really happened. I know Barington's been very good at detailing their investment thesis, putting it into presentations and white papers, and presumably attempting to engage in a constructive dialogue with management and the board. Is that something that you guys see as part of your strategy and activism, and proxy campaigns and board representation sort of as a last resort?
Well, Damien, I think that your point is correct. The companies are getting better at communicating with shareholders. But we shouldn't lose sight of who shareholders are. A shareholder is a part owner of a public corporation. Our investment thesis is bringing a private equity approach to public company investing. And we're not investing in companies that just have general characteristics across the board that you might see in the S&P 500 index. We're investing in what we think are good companies with great prospects for growth, have tangible assets, low debt, opportunity to really perform in the marketplace, but for a variety of reasons have drastically underperformed the market as a whole and their peers over a significant period of time. We will find subsets in industries that we really understand and then try to take a large position and work constructively with the company and its management team to improve shareholder value. And we have seen many instances, like Tim noted, where a management team will say, we have a policy, we do not meet with shareholders, we do not speak to the press, some don't even meet with Wall Street analysts. And obviously, that is, with a publicly traded company, that approach really doesn't make sense. That's fine if you want to have a privately run enterprise. So obviously, we do reach out to companies, and Barington has a successful 8-year track record working constructively with companies. But we often do see instances where we're approaching a management team and saying, look at your track record. It's significantly underperforming your peers and the market as a whole. You can do things better. We have some suggestions. No matter how nicely we say that, implicit in that statement is somebody that's running the show, and think about our luncheon address today, someone that's running the show maybe could have done their job a little better. And that person probably has kids in college and a mortgage to pay and gets concerned about his job, picks up the telephone and calls
Joel Frank
and Georgeson and other great advisors out there. Hopefully, they will work constructively with the shareholders to come to a solution that is win-win for everyone concerned, but often it can become a very hostile process as well.
Well, I think that's a good point as well. A few years ago when consulting to board of directors after an activist had taken a position and maybe even called them before they had filed a 13D, the typical reaction I used to find in the boardroom was immediately call your lawyer, review our bylaws, do we have a poison pill, should we lower the pill, should we put all of these elements in place to protect our business and kind of insulate ourselves from the activists and the rest of the world. Are companies doing things differently?
Absolutely. I think Matt and I can certainly say we see companies now taking a more proactive approach. They don't wait for the 13D. So we spend a great deal of time doing periodic fire drills, drafting anticipatory press releases, advising a board so that the message is unified and consistent. You never want to be in a situation where you have one, and Matt can speak to this, you never want to be in a situation where you have one board member who speaks differently to an issue than the rest of the board. So despite despite the presence of a shareholder who wishes to engage in a dialogue, we've already prepared a company to engage in that, whether it be through off-season roadshows or periodic fire drills. And with that, the company puts a team together, whether it's Joelle's, me, an investment bank, outside counsel,
Right.
and selected management and officers.